Hey boys and girls, today's word problem is a little bit tricky, so we're gonna do it all together. And we're gonna use the 3-read strategy. So let's start with the first read where you're just gonna visualize what's going on. I'm gonna read it out loud to you and you can follow along, but I want you to just imagine what's going on in this story. So it says, Jayshawn has $500 bills and 6 $10 bills in his wallet. Alva has 58 $10 bills under her mattress. And James has 556 $1 bills in his piggy bank. They decide to combine their money to buy a computer. Express the total amount of money they have using the following bills: hundreds, tens, and ones, and tens and ones. So let's just think through what's going on. So we have 3 people, Jayshawn, Alva, and James. And all 3 of them have a certain amount of money with different kinds of bills. They want to buy a computer. So they put all their money together to buy a computer. So I want you to just imagine what's going on. And if there's somebody else out in your home, turn and tell them what's going on in this problem. Okay, now we're going to move on to the third read where we record the quantities in units. So I'm going to read it aloud again. And as we're doing this, we're going to circle all of the quantities and underline the units that you see. Okay, first it says Jayshawn has 5 $100 bills. So 5 is a quantity, $100 bills is the unit. And 6 $10 bills. 6 is a quantity, $10 bills. Ooh, they spelled bills wrong here. Look at that mistake. Bills in his wallet. I shouldn't circle it because it's not a quantity. Okay. Alva had 58 $10 bills. 58 $10 bills under her mattress. James had 556 $1 bills in his piggy bank. 556 $1 bills. They decide to combine their money to buy a computer. Express the total amount of money they have using the following bills: hundreds, tens, and ones, tens, and ones. So now you're going to record your quantities in units. And I created this little drawing to help you guys figure out the quantities in units. So first it said that Jayshawn had 5 $100 bills. So that's 100 times 5. He also had 6 $10 bills. So that's 10 times 6. So I want you guys to figure out how much Jayshawn had total. Next, Alva had 58 $10 bills. So that's like saying 10 times 58. So you can figure out the total that Alva had. Finally, James had 556 $1 bills. So you can multiply 1 times 556 to figure out how much James had. I want you to pause the video here and calculate how much each of these 3 people had. So you're figuring out how much each one of them had. Pause it and solve. Okay, now let's check it together. So I know that 100 times 5 is 500, and 10 times 6 is 60. So that's 560. Whoops. Pencil keeps breaking. Okay, next, Alva had 58 $10 bills. So 10 times 58, I know that's 580. Okay, finally, James had 556 $1 bills. So that equals just 556. Okay, for our third read, we're going to read it again, but we're going to pay special attention to the question or the direction that they give to figure out what we need to do to solve this problem. And as you remember, it's a 2-part question, so there's a part A and a part B. So as we read this, I want you to listen for any words that clue us into what we need to do to solve. Okay, here we go. Okay, Jayshawn had 5 $100 bills and 6 $10 bills. We already know that that's $560 for Jayshawn. Alva had 58 $10 bills. we already figured out that that's 580. And then James had 556 $1 bills. James, so he just had $556 in his piggy bank. They decide to combine their money to buy a computer. Express the total amount of money they have using the following bills: hundreds, tens, and ones, and tens and ones. So since it says combine and total, I want you to think about what kind of math that means we need to use. What does it mean to combine, and what does it mean to find a total? So if there's somebody in your house, I want you to turn and tell them, or write down what kind of math you need to do on your paper. So you probably guessed it, we need to add them all together because they're combining their money to buy a computer, which means they're putting it all together. So you're going to add up how much they all had all together, and then we're going to figure out how to break that up into the units hundreds, tens, and ones. The units hundreds, tens, and ones, and tens and ones. Okay, now let's do this addition together. So 0 plus 0 plus 6 is 6. Six plus 8 plus 5. Well, I know that 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 8 is 19. So 9, and then bundle. 5, 10, 15, 16. So all together, they have $1,696. So now we need to figure out what those units are, what that value is in all these different units. So to do this, we're going to start by drawing a place value chart. Okay, I started with the first one here, and I drew a place value chart that goes up to the thousands because when we added, we got a number up to the thousands. And I filled in our number 1,696 into the place value chart. So I have 6 ones, 9 tens, 6 hundreds, and 1,000. But the question asks us only for hundreds, tens, and ones. So what we need to do is we need to unbundle our thousands into the hundreds place. So what I'm doing is I'm taking this 1,000 and I'm unbundling it into the hundreds place. So think to yourself, 1,000 equals how many hundreds? So I'm going to pause the video here, and I want you to give yourself a second to unbundle it. If you were going to unbundle your 1,000 into the hundreds place, how much would that be? You can also think about it as place value discs. So if you had a 1 place value disc in the thousands place, and you were going to unbundle it to the hundreds place, how many would you draw? So pause the video, and I want you guys to draw the place value chart and do the unbundling. Okay, so you should have gotten 10 hundreds. You could have drawn it as place value discs or as 10 hundreds. So if I had 6 hundreds to start with, and then I unbundled another 10, altogether that's 16 hundreds. And then I have 9 tens and 6 ones. All right, and that answers the first one. So if we go on to the next one, we're going to draw another place value chart. But since this one asks for tens and ones, we're going to start with the place value chart that we had up here. So instead of using the thousands place, we're going to take what we already unbundled. So that's 16 hundreds, 9 tens, and 6 ones. So this time, what we need to do is unbundle the hundreds place. So if we have 16 hundreds, what we need to do is unbundle that to the tens place. Now, if we were going to do this drawing place value discs, that would take us a really long time because we'd have to draw 16 hundreds and unbundle each one. So really what we're doing is we are multiplying by 10. So each hundred equals 10 tens. So if we have 1600s, how many tens do you think that would be? I'm going to say that one more time a little bit more slowly. 100 equals 10 tens. So 1600s is going to equal how many tens? I want you guys to pause the video, think about this, and write how many tens this would be in your tens place. All right, pause the video here, draw your place value chart, and see if you can figure this out on your own. Okay, so you guys probably got it. 1600s is going to be 160 tens because we're multiplying times 10. So 16 times 10 is going to be 160 tens. Now we have to add the 9 tens that we already had. So that gives us 169 tens and 6 ones. All right, that is our final answer for this problem. So what I want you guys to do is down here at the bottom, write a statement for each one of these. So you're going to write a full sentence explaining how much each of them have.